the values that Royal Enfield bring with it as a brand are different in each country, different in India, different in UK, different in Europe. Here in the UK, it is very much one of heritage, traditional motorcycling. It is a well-known brand in the UK and regarded as English, even though it's actually currently made in India. In India, it's quite different. It's regarded as a big motorcycle. It is large rather than anything else, and very well known and regarded as something of a Rolls-Royce in India. In other European countries, the English heritage is much less important, and it's more just of a brand new but older motorcycle.
Really is a 1950s design machine, 1950s technology, but still built today in 2007. If you bought a brand new Japanese machine nowadays, you're not even allowed to touch it between services with invalidating warranty, but we do encourage some customer involvement. We're providing the whole sort of lifestyle. You own a Royal Enfield, you get involved with it, you do some servicing, you enjoy the whole experience as a hobby as well as a motorcycle and a form of transport. There's not really a competitive environment for Royal Enfield within the motorcycle market because we're in a very niche market with Royal Enfield. It's quite unique. Because we're competing with the leisure products like conservatories, holidays, new kitchens, people do need to justify the money that they're spending on it, because at the end of the day it really is a sort of a treat for themselves. It's a toy that they can use at the weekends. It's for riding around the nice country lanes on a Sunday afternoon. It's not necessarily a necessity. So there's some justification to themselves that they're doing the right thing, and money is a big factor in that. There's also the reassurance that they're buying the right bike for themselves. They've often had a break from motorcycling for maybe 10, 20 or 30 years, and some reassurance from the dealer that they're buying the right product, so they know it's got a good backup, spare parts, accessories and everything are available for them. Our current marketing strategy is to promote true motorcycling in its purest form, really. And we've got the authentic motorcycle. It's got some heritage to it in the UK, and we're really promoting that as a sort of true motorcycling experience. And you can go along and come back from a ride on your bike with a grin on your face, not having to do 100 miles an hour to do that. It's motorcycling at its purest.
The core difference in marketing between India and Europe would be the way the communication is sent out. In this part of the world, we're not mainstream. We are a niche product. We don't use communication media which is mainstream. We get into print media in terms of classic bike media and stuff like that. While in India, we're absolutely in the mainstream. We're using national mediums such as television. We're using print media, which is national newspapers and stuff. In India, we have the most expensive motorcycle available, at about top ceiling of about 100,000 Indian rupees. Whereas when you compare it to Europe, we are probably either one of the cheapest or not the so very expensive motorcycles. In India, we're directly competing against what we call there as the Indo-Japanese machines, which is basically Japanese brand motorcycles but built in India. We're competing with these motorcycles in terms of power, performance, style, looks, everything. There is a sort of a status symbol thing which is attached with the Royal Enfield brand out in India. It's been there in India for 50 years. It's been the biggest motorcycle in those 50 years. It's been the most expensive motorcycle in those 50 years. So we sort of looked up as a big brother in terms of the motorcycles, of the smaller sized motorcycles which normally sell there. Our communication, our tagline in India used to be "Everybody makes way for the bullet." We ran a television commercial where a train would stop and make way for the bullet. And you couldn't find a bigger mechanical land monster than a train which would stop and give way for a motorcycle. While this would not be true in any case, but on the advertising platform, it was just to reinforce a message that, hey, look, we are a status symbol, we are an aspirational product, and if a train can stop for us, so can anybody else.
Everybody makes way for the bullet.
Now, this communication would not be valid for anybody in Europe, who's different culture, different countries. What we use in the UK, for example, is we communicate about the heritage, about the classic, about the ease of ownership. While in Germany, we communicate in terms of the low pricing, in terms of the low cost of ownership again, and what the ease of mechanical maintenance, and the fact that you can fiddle with the motorcycle yourselves. Now, this communication would not be valid for anybody in Europe, who's different culture, different countries. What we use in the UK, for example, is we communicate about the heritage, about the classic, about the ease of ownership. While in Germany, we communicate in terms of the low pricing, in terms of the low cost of ownership again, and what the ease of mechanical maintenance, and the fact that you can fiddle with the motorcycle yourselves. So that is what sells in Germany for us. In Italy, for example, we communicate totally on the style element, in the sense it's a very good looking machine. It's also got heritage, it's got classic feel on it. So in France, again, it's like telling them about how stylish the motorcycle is, and how stylish motorcycles in 1950s and 60s were. We've got very nice print advertising with riding shots of our models, where the key message is talking about the way the bike looks, the way the bike handles, and the way the cost of ownership of a classic model just works for you.